Price before law. It's time to pull out the Exodia card. I mean, it's time to expose the SEC at full scale, guys. It's time. This may be a case of price before law. Let's talk about it. Guys, today's video is absolutely ridiculous, okay? First of all, just in, Ripple positioned for a positive outcome in SEC lawsuits as XRP Army and Johnny Deaton expects Ripple to win its case in the Supreme Court. Now, a lot of people are talking about the Supreme Court and whatnot, right? So, what do you believe will happen, guys, with this case? Even Ripple CEO expects the XRP case to end this year. So, what's your source, right? Even though this is speculation, guys, about the Supreme Court situation, whatnot that could occur, but we actually talked about it before, guys. This may, if it goes towards or to the Supreme Court, guys, right, this case and whatnot, this may be a case of what? Price before law. And in today's video, we'll probably talk about that in the later parts, guys. But it's crazy because now the Bitcoin maxis are out on full force, right? Do you guys know why? So it's going to the federal courts. Good to know. Ripple is screwed. Again, the Bitcoin maxis are out, guys, out of the woodworks, right? Trying to attack Ripple and XRP at this point in time. But they don't understand one thing, that Ripple is fighting for everyone, right? If Ripple loses, guess what's going to happen with every other project? Goodbye and good luck. Now, but they won't. We know the game plan is super. I mean, in my opinion, it's super clear and super easy. At the same time, from Uphold, XRP is listed and available now on Uphold, guys. Relist XRP is what? Or has been trending, guys. All these people are talking about relist XRP, right? All this stuff. Again, I'm pretty sure I have an affiliate link down below if you guys would like to buy XRP from Uphold, guys, but I'm not 100%. Now, it's crazy because look at this right here. News: Kraken, Coinbase say they are willing to fight the SEC on token listings, right? Interesting. Wait a moment. What? Is there going to be an XRP listing soon? Great. When? Relist XRP at Coinbase, Kraken, right? And Kraken. But at the same time, guys, don't forget, because we're going to talk about Garlinghouse just came out today and spoke, right? But before we do, let's go here. Crypto industry has more appetite to fight Kraken exec. So let's see what he states right here. Guys, today's video is absolutely crazy. Again, we have Kraken the code. We have definitely cracked code. Basically, the SEC is after crypto, right? A lot of people hate the SEC at this point in time, but Coinbase and Kraken say their operations are sound, as enforcement actions alleging unregistered securities offerings heat up in the United States. Coinbase and Kraken are confident tokens listed on their platforms are not securities. Regulatory leaders from the exchanges said Thursday they aren't securities. So why isn't XRP listed as well? I don't get it. Nothing makes sense, folks. We are comfortable that the products we are offering in the United States are not securities, right? Then the tokens on Coinbase do not behave like securities. Even if all the tokens were ruled securities, Coinbase could make it work. What would we do? The simple answer is it could be done with sensible rules, right? Now, this is what I agree on right here, guys. Basically, the global head of policy at Kraken agreed when it comes to advancing crypto exchange policy, leaders need to think about how to adjust current laws to fit crypto, he added. Again, they're literally applying 1900 laws for crypto technology, which literally makes zero sense, right? And this is where possibly a new test comes into play. Possibly the Ripple test. Again, Supreme Court win, right? Ripple test then comes into play. XRP has risen in price beforehand, though, right? Price before law. We're going to be talking about it. Then disclosures, market integrity, conflict of interest rules. It's not reinventing the wheel. These policies have existed for a long time, but there are nuances with this technology. Appetite to litigate in this industry is as high as it's ever been. That's funny because the Ripple Council comes out and states, get out of America, guys, at the same time. So many things are taking place. What is happening, right? Chaos is ensuing, guys. Don't you see what's literally taking place? Before we talk about that, first of all, from Garlinghouse, he comes out and states, CEO of Ripple, Garlinghouse says the United States needs to embrace crypto regulation, right? Lanes asked, if the United States doesn't get its act together, is all of this crypto going offshore? Me, it already is. Wow. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Crypto moving offshore is not good for American innovation, period, full stop. Again, what's about to happen, guys? Listen to this. This is the craziest thing ever.
The SEC bringing the case against Ripple was not really just a case about Ripple or about XRP. It's really about the industry and how the SEC is kind of playing offense and attacking the whole industry. 2.5 years ago when this started, I'm not sure everyone fully digested that, and now that is widely understood. This is going to be pivotal for the whole industry because if the SEC is able to prevail, I think there's a lot of other cases, and some of them just in the last 4 weeks, I think they brought 5 additional enforcement cases. The macro headline for me is this is not a healthy way to regulate an industry. Your regulation through enforcement, as opposed to where we're seeing in other countries where they're doing the work, right? They're codifying, they're creating a framework that allows an industry to grow while protecting consumers. And I think that's really what the U.S. is lagging. And to some degree why I'm here in Washington is to continue to try to evangelize and educate. Here's how these technologies can really benefit consumers, benefit industry.
Is what I'm hearing from you essentially, if the U.S. doesn't get its act together and move more quickly, all of this is going offshore. It's just going elsewhere.
Well, it already is. I mean, the sad reality is that the U.S. really is already behind. This is not behind countries that we haven't necessarily heard of. This is behind Australia and behind the countries that have taken the time and thoughtfulness to create that clear rules of the road. By contrast, when I first got involved in the tech industry in the late 90s, some were saying the internet should be banned. They were saying, like, here's how the internet is being used for illicit purposes. But the U.S. government said, no, we're going to create a framework. And that allowed entrepreneurs, that allowed investors to come in and look at the benefits to the United States on a geopolitical basis to have the Amazons and Googles based and headquartered in the United States. We're at, I think, severe risk of having that not happen in this next evolution of technology around blockchain and crypto. It has already started moving outside the United States. And also, the consumers are suffering because of that, because you don't have the same protections that the U.S. regulatory frameworks can provide.
What would a good framework look like, in your view?
Well, look, I think what you're seeing right now is the Securities and Exchange Commission. If you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And not everything here is a nail. And I think any framework has to start with clear protections for consumers, but then to thoughtfully understand that these aren't always going to be securities. Some of them are used as currencies. That is having an efficient process to trade, exchange. So
is it over for America, guys? Or has it just begun? Because remember, America isn't going to get left behind. Or are they? They sure seem like they quote unquote are, right? Maybe they have a trump card. Could it be XRP? Now, from Blockworks, exclusive Ripple Chief Legal Officer blunt advice for crypto firms. Get out of the United States of America. Wow. Immigrate now, guys. This is the craziest thing, right? I do not respect the SEC from Elon Musk. Everyone's hating guys. Wow, there's a full force attack on the SEC, right? Gary, your time is incoming. From Johnny Deaton, every lawyer I know is advising clients to not cooperate with the SEC. The environment Gary Gensler has created is to fight back. If a subpoena can be lawfully challenged in court, that's what you do. If the SEC lawyers threaten to bankrupt you the way they did Library, then file suit. Interesting. So let's go ahead and check this out, right? After spending the past roughly 30 months building Ripple's case, Stuart Alderoty has lots of tips, and he's not shy about sharing them. This is the craziest thing, folks. Cannot believe it. Now, there is finally an end in sight for Ripple's year-long multi-million-dollar fights with the SEC, but the blockchain technology company has some advice for those facing the growing hostility of American regulators. Get out of the United States of America. Wow. Quote, the first piece of advice you can give somebody who's thinking about a project is don't launch it in the United States because the rules are unclear, end quote. Wow. This is the craziest thing, guys, right? He stated, the Stuart Alderoty, chief legal officer at Ripple, stated that go to a jurisdiction where rules are clear, not a light touch, but clear. I do get calls, he said, asking for a friend. What would you do if you got a Wells notice? If a company served a subpoena or a Wells notice or an enforcement action and there has been no shortage lately, they need to operate under the assumption that the SEC's case is already decided. Don't trust these guys, he said. It's not a level playing field, right? Alderoty, wow, guys. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Again, there needs to be a level playing field at the end of the day, and I believe there will be, guys, at one point in time, right? First we need to go through the storm. And then what happens after the storm? You got it. Rainbows and sunshines. They should not be prejudging the outcome of unresolved issues, right? So he's stating that it's already said and done, guys, right? Whatever they made up their mind, they certainly should not be doing so in a very public way, because it corrupts the process. It corrupts the perception of the process. Then Gensler has his mind made up before the enforcement action is filed. But why though? Why is Gensler doing this? Because he's a puppet pushing the what narrative? That the 99.9% of these coins have to go away, and one day it will, in my humble opinion. Then, for the folks that are kind of early in the process, I think you should seriously think about this as an issue. As for Ripple and XRP, there are now, broadly speaking, 3 ways it could go. Alderati said, 1, the judge could side with Ripple. 2, the judge decides with the SEC. Or 3, the judge says there are disputed facts and the case needs to go to trial. It's not an issue of fraud or market manipulation. It's a question of law. If the judge sides with the SEC, Ripple can and will immediately appeal. The case would go before the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, and then the next step would be the Supreme Court. Wow, Supreme Court talks here, folks. Right? Can't believe it. We're going to be talking about how it ties in possibly with price before law occurring. Then there's a lot of ifs between now and the Supreme Court's case. But he stated that he likes his odds, right? Ripple basically does at this point in time. I would be supremely confident that this is a winner in the Supreme Court. Not so much because of the crypto issues, but because of the guarding against building an administrative state. Wow, a lot of Supreme Court talk, huh, guys? Interesting. A win in the summary judgment motion, or a win in the summary judgment, would mean Ripple has room to expand domestically. We would have this incredible business opportunity in the United States that is evergreen for us, he stated. Now, so if they go to the Supreme Court, guys, how long will that take? Possibly a few years maximum, right? We will not get regulatory clarity before the first quarter of 2025. Best case scenario is likely the summer of 2025. This is a fact, not an opinion, right? Now, so let's talk about it. How can price before law occur, guys? Right? I believe the case concludes at the same time as the collapse. But first, let March finish. Let March conclude. Then that's going to be my verdict. My final thoughts about the case, guys. It concludes or ends at the same time as the collapse, which will be happening around this time frame right here, right? Don't mind the arrows. I do believe that XRP pumps, right? Possibly, then dumps during the collapse, and then pumps when the new financial system is in place. But this is how possibly price before law comes into play. Why? Because if the collapse occurs, right, and then afterwards the reset is obviously happening at the same time, afterwards XRP price rises like no tomorrow, and then the case concludes afterwards, guys, right? Which will be a price before law scenario right there. If they wait to pump XRP after the case concludes, that would mean a lot of people can jump in, guys, at that point in time. But everyone will be caught off guard if price rises before the case concludes. Do you guys see what I'm trying to say right here? Right? Now, I'm not sure if I'm saying everything that I want to say right now, because I am forgetting a few things to say, guys. But another thing right here is there's 2 scenarios for XRP. Number 1, it does this right here, right? I believe. Number 2 is it does this right here. It fluctuates till this area, guys, and then it blasts off when the new financial system is running, right? Scenario 1, scenario 2. Which one will it be? I don't know, guys. But if it consolidates and stays stable like that, this scenario right here, validates the Riddlers. Why? Because the Riddlers have stated that XRP will have a flip switch moment in time. But when will that be? Possibly when a new financial system comes live. But if XRP has a flip switch time, right, a moment in time, the bad part about that is it's going to be pricing people out, right? Because people will be getting bored and stuff if it just stays stable. So hopefully we have this scenario instead. We pump, then possibly dump a bit, and then flip that switch at the end, guys. And that's how price before law possibly comes into play, right? I am probably forgetting a few more things, guys, because there's so many things running in my mind right now. But overall, I am very confident of what will occur, guys, at one point in time. Okay. Last but not least, what do we see right here? Simplest explanation. SEC and Ripple are in bed together. They both know the outcome and date. I agree, right? From Fame 21 more. Again, guys, it's quite clear. Remember, whatever, even if they keep delaying, they're all on the same side, on the same team, right? It's that clear, guys. How come people can't see? I don't know. But we do, right? We could see. We got the eyes and the ears to listen to, guys, or hear. So it all depends on what you believe, right? I believe the case concludes at the same time. Well, let's let March finish. Then I would believe the case concludes at the same time as the collapse occurs, right? Hopefully scenario 1 occurs, guys, because scenario 2 would just be catastrophic for a lot of XRP holders, right? Because XRP holders are angry at this point, right? Mad and whatnot, that it's not reaching a new all-time high. But imagine if it stayed stable, guys. Wow, it would, a lot of people would just lose hope and leave. But I'll probably always be here, guys. But at the end of the day, let's see what occurs. Not financial advice, not financial advice, and not financial advice. But anyways, that's all for you guys. Bye, see ya.